Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. Act 1, Scene 5, Macbeth. This is a metaphor for Lady Macbeth's need to deceive. She must appear innocent and harmless while harboring evil intentions within. Lady Macbeth's punishment in A Macbeth is a multi-layered tapestry, woven with threads of psychological torment, internal decay, social ostracization, and tragically, self-inflicted demise. Let's unravel each strand and see how Shakespeare crafts her downfall. The once steely and ambitious Lady Macbeth becomes haunted by the consequences of her actions. Sleep, once a refuge, becomes a battlefield where she relives the murders, scrubbing imaginary blood from her hands and pleading out, "Damned spot." This relentless internal torment gnaws at her sanity, driving her to the brink of mental breakdown. The guilt and anguish that plague her waking hours bleed into her nightmares, transforming her into a spectral figure of regret. Shakespeare masterfully showcases how Lady Macbeth's ambition poisons her from within. The ruthless woman who declared, "I would pluck my nipple from his boneless gums and dash the brains out, had I so sworn as you," becomes frail and fragile. Her ambition morphs into a monstrous burden, crushing her sense of self and consuming her with shame. As she loses her hold on power and control, her very identity seems to crumble, leaving behind a husk of remorse and despair. Once regarded with respect and admiration, Lady Macbeth becomes a pariah, shunned by society for her perceived wickedness. The whispers and suspicions that surround her are a constant reminder of her transgression and exacerbate her isolation. This social exile drives her further into her internal turmoil and deepens her sense of alienation. The psychological and emotional strain manifests in Lady Macbeth's physical decline. Sleepwalking, fevers, and hallucinations plague her, mirroring the turmoil within. These physical symptoms symbolize the destructive force of her guilt and suggest that her body is rebelling against the sins her spirit has borne. Ultimately, Lady Macbeth's punishment culminates in the most devastating act of all, suicide. Unable to bear the weight of her actions and the relentless torment of her conscience, she chooses oblivion over continued suffering. This tragic end leaves a haunting question: is it a final escape from punishment, or rather, a self-inflicted sentence, the ultimate act of self-condemnation? Lady Macbeth's punishment serves as a chilling reminder of the consequences of unchecked ambition and the power of guilt to consume even the strongest souls. She becomes a cautionary tale, a character whose descent into madness and self-destruction paints a vivid picture of the moral and psychological price of succumbing to darkness. However, her tragedy also invites interpretations beyond mere punishment. Some see her suicide as a final act of agency, a way to choose her own end rather than face the harsh judgment of society and her own conscience. Others recognize a glimmer of humanity in her remorse, a hint of redemption amidst the wreckage of her ambition. Ultimately, the complexity of Lady Macbeth's punishment lies in its open-ended nature. Shakespeare leaves us to grapple with the moral weight of her actions, her descent into suffering, and the ambiguous nature of her final choice. Whether it be a cruel twist of fate, a self-inflicted wound, or a complex culmination of internal and external pressures, Lady Macbeth's demise remains a powerful and haunting element of A Macbeth, inviting us to ponder the nature of ambition, guilt, and the human cost of pursuing power at any price. Do you have any further thoughts or questions about Lady Macbeth's fate? I'd be happy to explore different interpretations and delving deeper into the emotional and philosophical nuances of her downfall. Blood, blood everywhere. All the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand. Act 5, Scene 1, Macbeth. This is a powerful image of Lady Macbeth's guilt. She believes that no matter how hard she tries, she will never be able to wash away the blood of Duncan from her hands or her conscience.